Okay, step number 8. Turn your website into a silent salesman 24/7. So let me ask you a question. Is your website right now making you money 24/7 on autopilot? And don't be despondent if it isn't, because there's very few people whose website actually does this. But I want to stress something very, very important at this point. Do you see that building your website is only in step number 8? Most people start a business. What is the first thing they do? I need to get a website up, or my fan page, or get onto YouTube or something. Can you see? Hopefully by now you can see you cannot build a website if you want it to succeed, or a sales page, or any sales funnel for that matter, if you don't have the first few steps in place. Because if you're putting a website together, how do you know what your compelling headline must be? What is your sales video going to be all about? What are you going to ask for an opt-in, which is getting a name and email for what gift or are you going to offer to get your list, which we're coming to is building your list. How are you going to do anything? What are you selling if you don't know what your customers truly want to buy from you? That is why most websites suck. They don't work because the research, the first 7 steps of this process have not been put in place. I really hope that makes sense. So, how do you start making or fixing your website so it starts to do what you want it to do, make money? Now, the way we do this is there's actually 12 points that I use to critique a website, and I have an X-ray that I put your website through in step 8. And what this X-ray reveals is your top 3 challenges. And when you fix those top 3 challenges, generally 9 times out of 10 your website starts to work right away. And one of the first things we focus on is, what is the purpose of your website? Most people say to sell things. No, the number one purpose of your website, no matter what your website's intent or purpose is to gain trust for your customer. Think about sales in the real world. When you go sit next to a salesperson, the first thing they should be doing, and again, not many of them actually do this, they should be gaining your trust before the sales process begins. Now, in the real world, what can you do? You can give them coffee and you can watch their facial expressions to see if they liking what you say, that you don't like. You can put your arm around them, give them a nice gesture, use your cute little tricks in the real world to get customers to like you. But in the digital marketing world, they're looking at a screen. You can't do your little fancy tricks to make them love you. Your website has to achieve that. That is the first thing we work on. It's the number one point in this X-ray, is we've got to get your customers to trust you the way we design and set up your website. Otherwise, everything else doesn't matter. And follow proven templates. I know a lot of people go to fancy designers and they put all things together, it looks beautiful, but there's proven templates that work in the world of internet marketing. And I show you exactly all these proven templates that have worked for me and many of my clients. You have access to all of those instead of reinventing the wheel yourself. And the final piece is build your list. Anyone who knows internet marketing knows the money is in your list. This is building your tribe of your followers. You need to build them, get them into your environment, look after them really well, give them great value, and that's how you can sell them ethically. This is the essence of internet marketing. And your website should be using this process to create it. If it's not, we need to do step 8. Okay, step number 9. Here we look at your digital marketing strategies. How do we create these? I know this section blows people's minds. It is so confusing out there in today's world. Every 5 minutes there's this new mega thing that's coming on the market and this new shiny object, and we're all told to race after this because this is the next big thing that's going viral and blah blah blah. And if you get sucked into that, you're going to wear yourself out. I've been down that rabbit hole a few times myself, and honestly I've almost burnt myself out. So what I did is I sat back, reflected on all this, and I have a 1-page sales funnel where I take all of this in step 9 where I work with you. We create a 1-pager for this. And what this does is it keeps you focused so you don't get shot off on tangents and land up honestly doing so much time where nothing gets done. There's no return on investment. How do we break this down? We start off with your website or your sales page if you have landing pages or websites, or if you have both, it doesn't matter. And then what do we got to do? The first thing we got to do is we need to establish you as the go-to expert, the authority in your niche. That's a process. That's the first thing you got to do, and it's not as hard as you think it is. Trust me, there are so many lunatics out there in this world on the internet driving everybody mad. And the way you break through is just tell your story, and there's a way you craft your story and be ethical about it. And this is how we begin to craft you as the go-to expert. The next thing is traffic strategy. So you can't just have a fancy looking website. It has to be a formula to convert, but you need traffic. It's a website with no traffic's like a pretty picture in a cupboard, or a retail store with no one in it. It's the same thing. So you got to have strategies to drive traffic or visitors to your website. And there's several ways to do this. Now, most people don't do this. They don't focus on this. We all know about free and paid strategies, and I take you through a whole lot of free stuff. And then I talk to you about paid stuff as well, like Google Ads, etc. But here's the thing that most people don't think about on a website, is you can build your website and drive traffic offline as well as online. Most people only focus on online, but you can do fantastic stuff for free offline, such as when you go to conferences, if you do joint ventures, you go to networking events, you can do sales presentations at company events or whatever. There's a lot of stuff you can do offline to drive traffic to your website. Some of the other traffic strategy will be things like, maybe you want to write a book on Amazon. Again, that is not as hard as you think it is. You don't need to be a fancy author. I have lots of books on Amazon that do really well, and they're about 20,000 pages. And they're great lead magnets for the business. So I'll show you how to do that. You have blog posts, you can have podcasts. These are all things that you can use to drive traffic to your website or your landing pages. The next thing is leveraging the social media mega platforms. Now again, this is where the wheels can really fall off the trolley, because you can get involved with all these things, and not every platform is right for your particular business or your audience. You have to work out which one it is, and then what you have to do is you need to put all of this in a structured format. Otherwise you are going to lose your mind. So the next stage is building your list. Your website with traffic coming to it, they look at the page. Your website or sales page must be correctly designed, where you're asking for an email for something in return, whatever that is. Again, that's why I said these are steps only happen now. So you're now building your list, you're getting people on your database. You then have to have a communication strategy to talk to these people. What do these people want to know about? This is why this is step 9. If you've done this program and you come to step 9, you know exactly what to put in those emails, because you know what your customers really want to hear about. What are their greatest fears, angers, frustrations? What do they really want and outcomes from your products and services? That's what you communicate. But you have to have it in a structure. How frequently do you do it? When do you do it? What is the format? And this is where your copywriting comes in the previous steps. So this all comes together to make your digital marketing strategies really work. This really gives you the chance for your digital marketing strategies to work. Most people I work with have never even heard of the first few steps, and this is why this is a complete shambles and doesn't make any money. And what I've done for you is we work in a one-page sales funnel. This all goes on one piece of paper, again, to get rid of that confusion and clutter, and it's very, very powerful, and it really does work.